Do you want to build a snowman? To be honest, neither do I. However, I do want to put together some stuff in graphic design. Now, graphic design uses what I like to call the trifecta of programs. We know that to be Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign. Now, we know that Illustrator is great for making logos or anything that needs mathematical computations so that we get these nice smooth edges. Notice how I blow this up as far as it will go and the edge is nice and smooth. Okay, so let's switch to Photoshop. In Photoshop, I've got the exact same logo, pasted in from my Illustrator file. Let's blow it up. Oh my goodness. But we know this. We know that that's what happens. So we know that Photoshop is for, well, we're definitely not going to save that, is for images. Now, you know, Batman used to be good, but apparently Deadpool is a little better. But again, we zoom in, we start getting the little artifacts and everything. So we know that Photoshop's for images or raster images. Illustrator's for vector images. Oh, what the heck's InDesign for? Well, InDesign is a page layout program. It allows you to bring everything into one. What do I mean by that? Now let's close Photoshop because we don't need Photoshop now. Oh, let's go ahead and close Illustrator. And move over into InDesign. Now, InDesign gives us a lot of control over just about every element. There's a reason it's a page layout program. As you can see here, I've got a text box, and inside this text box, I've got tabs, I've got columns, I've got some styles going on, and these are some of the things that are really hard to do in programs like Illustrator and Photoshop. Plus, if we zoom in on the text, we can see that our text is nice and even and plain, just like it would be in Illustrator. The difference is InDesign gives us a ton more control. Let's start, and we've talked about this before, the dialog box. Not only can we control the page size, but we can control live area. We can add columns here. We can add a bleed, a slug if needed. We can add increase or decrease gutters between columns. And that's just some of the power that InDesign has. So if I create a new document, another thing that I really like about this program, under Layout, Create Guides, it allows you to specify a number of rows and columns to create your guide. Previews a nice thing. So you can see if I was trying to fit business cards or something on a page, and I know how many is going to go across, I know how many is going to go tall, I could actually easily create that using guides. Now I can increase and decrease the gutter between so that I can just have a line as a guide and instantly set up guides. And that's just one thing that InDesign is real superior at without having to drag the guides out. I can get precise measurements and everything like that by using it. Okay, so another thing that it is really good at is type handling. Now, I've gotten this document I've gotten the text from a client. I've kind of laid out where I want some of the places, and my text is boring. Well, in InDesign, we use something called paragraph styles, character styles, object styles, and what that does is it allows me to really recreate a document and make it look fantastic. And just to give you an idea, this is plain text here. But if I reapply my styles, all of a sudden I have something completely different. And this is all in one text box. It's not multiple text boxes. I can select everything at once. I don't have to skip around to get to where I need to be. So Let's take a look at one area. Let's take a look at this pull quote here. Okay. Now, as you can see, the pull quote has a nice little bracket, some text in between. Well, let's select this, and let's take it back to body copy. And to do that, I come over to my paragraph styles, and I change it back to body. Okay. But look what I get. I get a bracket. I'm just going to return this so you can see a little bit. I get a bracket, some text, and another bracket. As you're doing InDesign, one of the nicest features about paragraph styles is the ability to apply it to multiple lines of text. So if I click anywhere in this bracket, and I know I have a paragraph style that is called left bracket, pull quote left bracket, if I right click on that, apply, sorry, let me click on it, and then and of course it's not working like I want it to. Let's see, go down to pull quote left bracket. I apply it. I can select the next text. I know that that's my pull quote text. Oh, I know what I'm doing. Pull quote left bracket. Nope, still being mean to me. Probably. Oh, I bet I haven't set that up yet. Pull quote left bracket. Then I can do pull quote. Then I can click on my next bracket and do pull quote right bracket. And boom, it puts everything into place. Okay, now in order to do that, if you open this up by double clicking on this, this is my pull quote left bracket. I actually link to other areas. I've got what's called a grep style. Now we won't go into that in this class because it's extremely complicated. That applies everything to a bracket, and it applies a style, which is a character style, to this bracket. Now under general, next style is pull quote, and it should have allowed me just to right click and apply the pull quote, but it is 7:17 in the morning, so chances are I'm just being, brain dead. Okay, so InDesign allows you to use multiple pages easily, link all the text together, style the text, put in objects, rotate the objects, add drop shadows, do effects, a lot of the things that you thought you could only do in Photoshop. Now, if I preview this document, this is how it would look on the printed page. You could create this, again, in Photoshop, in InDesign, or Illustrator, but you would not have the control that you need. That is why it's a trifecta. Illustrator's vector, Photoshop is raster, and InDesign pulls it all together into one.